Coming up on Mountain News this morning, teachers in our region work to help their students stay engaged and ready to learn through summer break. And Kentucky State Police officially kicks off its Click It or Ticket campaign to help keep Kentuckians safe during their daily travels.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, y'all. 6 o'clock. I'm Dakota Makris. It's Tuesday, and literally my day was just made. Like, I don't even know, 30 seconds ago. It was, let's head on over to Brandon for a check at that forecast.
You're welcome.
If you missed it, he made a catnapping forecast with my child, Winona.
Well, I didn't make it. I got it from another
you used
station.
it. You used her picture.
Exactly.
Look, that just made my, and you know what? You stayed true to your word because you said, we're going to get one. We're going to get one. I was like, whatever.
I kept trying. I was like, can I build this myself? And I just kept looking. And finally, we have a system called ARC that we clip video with. And I saw a sister say, like, oh, I'm going to see if I can get that graphic. So there you go.
I wanted to email that meteorologist personally that sent it to you. But now I have to be nice to you. So that's the problem.
That's exactly right.
See, it's catch-22 around here.
That's exactly right. But this morning, not too bad outside as you head out the door. We're going to continue to see, again, some warmer temperatures. Mountain Parkway near the Wolf-Powell County line. A little bit of light traffic near Slade. And you'll see 58 up that way this morning. Fairly mild compared to yesterday. Still in the 40s in Clintwood. Southwest Virginia always has one of our coldest spots in the region. That's typical, though. But you see 63 in Logan, 62 Pikeville, 61 Prestonsburg, Moorhead, and Monticello, 60 in Jackson, and a lot of mid to upper 50s. So your breakfast forecast as you head out the door, about 57, maybe just a degree or two warmer there in spots this morning. And then you'll see again, temperatures go up pretty quickly, but only stabilize in the upper 70s to right around 80 later this afternoon. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Keeping themselves informed is half of their job when it comes to current events. But teachers also work to get students interested in community issues. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked with teachers about how they keep students engaged and learning about where they live, even through long breaks.
The 2023 primary election has concluded, but preparing for the day to vote is something teachers spend weeks talking about with students.
Yeah, it is. I used to teach civics in high school, and we always talked about the importance of getting out and voting.
The lesson does not stop at simply gearing up for the ability to vote. The conversations start with current issues.
The first thing that I do is that I try to remind students that there are bills being debated, laws being passed every day, not just in Kentucky, but all across the country that affect them.
Those lessons may not be from a textbook perspective, but rather allowing students to get creative, like having them create their own political parties.
When I'm giving them this project, I'm telling them, do not just make your party that you're creating the Republicans 2.0 or the Democrats 2.0. Really think about what issues are important to you.
Creative competition increases their chance of staying interested through summer break. Then when election season arrives and they are of age, students from any background are ready to find a polling location.
So they can have a say in who gets into office. And I've always said, if you don't vote, don't complain.
Summer break may just be days away for many, but community issues are still in session. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Hazard High School teacher Patrick Hall also says they will include discussions about the general election when school restarts and November draws near. Well, economists say if lawmakers don't reach a debt ceiling deal, millions of Americans could lose their jobs, Social Security checks could be delayed, and the nation's credit rating could be lowered. But how does that impact your everyday life? Eastern Kentucky University Associate Professor of Government Dr. Matthew Howell compares the debt ceiling to a parent issuing a child an allowance. If you don't have enough money, you ask a parent or guardian, which in this case would be Congress, for more money. Much like this scenario, the question becomes, what are the conditions for you actually receiving the money?
When we hit that day, again, there are a number of things we could do. The government could sell assets it doesn't want to sell. The government could decide to shut down.
Howell said those actions could have an impact on things like national parks, the post office, and the ability to get your passport, just name a few agencies. He says if bond ratings change due to the U.S. not paying its bills, then it could impact retirement accounts. The ACLU of Kentucky filed a motion for preliminary injunction relief for a portion of Senate Bill 150. The section of the bill would ban essential medical care for transgender youth, and it is scheduled to take effect June 29th. Leaders with the ACLU filed the motion to stop the ban from taking effect while their lawsuit against SB 150 goes through the court system. And the NAACP is warning people of color and members of the LGBTQ+ community to not travel to Florida. The group issued a formal travel advisory Saturday, saying the state is in part, quote, openly hostile toward African Americans, people of color, and LGBTQ+ individuals, end quote. The NAACP's actions came one day after another civil rights group, the League of United Latin American Citizens, issued a similar travel ban. The president of the Lexington chapter of the NAACP reacted to the advisory.
It is imperative at this point that we try to affect some type of change so that this type of behavior and these type of policies don't continue to become embedded into the system and grow like a cancer.
The NAACP says this is not a boycott as of the state right now. It's just an advisory. Governor Ron DeSantis is expected to announce his candidacy for president this week. Police launched a new campaign on Monday focusing on community safety. WYMT's Olivia Calfee tells us why something as simple as buckling up could save your life.
KSP launched its Click It or Ticket campaign on Monday. Post 13 Public Information Officer Matt Gayhart says it is not about writing citations. It's about preventing heartache.
In my career, the hardest thing that I've ever had to do was to go to somebody's family and tell them that their loved one's not coming home because they've been killed in a car collision. To go beyond that, it's even harder to tell them that they wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Gayhart says in 2021, 11,813 people not wearing their seatbelt died in car crashes in the U.S. Hazard ARH General Trauma Surgeon Heath Brashear explains why the campaign is important to him.
Perry County is, in fact, #1 in unrestrained motor vehicle accidents, not wearing the seatbelt. And that is just such a easy, simple maneuver that can save your life and other people's life. From a medical standpoint, it's very important that I'm here today, not only for my patients and trauma victims, but if we can do one thing that saves one life and it's as easy as wearing a seatbelt, by all means, we should do it.
During Monday's news conference, students and staff at Buckhorn School were acknowledged for winning the Battle of the Belts competition. Executive Director for the Office of Highway Safety, Bill Bell, says it is about leading by example.
They're setting a good example to their classmates, and I think that's huge as far as doing something positive. And this is very positive because every so often we hear about a story where someone's not going to make it to graduation.
Reminding folks across the Commonwealth to click it or ticket. In Hazard, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
Trooper Matt Gayhart says as Memorial Day approaches, KSP will have an increased presence on the roads and will be paying heavy attention to if you are wearing your seatbelt.
.608 here on this Tuesday morning. We take a look across the region at current conditions. Pine Mountain, Whitesburg Mountain, US 119, 58 degrees. No traffic up there this morning. No major issues. Temperatures 40s, 50s, and 60s. 48 in Clintwood to 63 in Logan. A lot of mid to upper 50s and low 60s out there this morning. 79 this afternoon, mix of sun and clouds. Maybe a sprinkle in those western counties. We're keeping an eye out, and we'll keep you posted for the rest of the week and this weekend coming up here in just a few minutes. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. More news is on the way. The man accused of murdering 4 University of Ohio students appears in court as pleas are entered for him by the presiding judge. Stay with us. We'll be right back.